Hi you guys, what's going on? My name is Rye Reed, the writer. I found the most nefariously hilarious story that I had to report on. So of course I was on TikTok and I found this video. These actors and writers are striking outside Universal Studios. They have their picket signs. They're demanding higher wages, health care, longer run times with productions like for film and for TV shows to be longer than 10 episodes. And they're demanding for AI interactions to be like just watched over, so nothing is just being overstepped. So you as an actor, you won't come on set and they won't demand to have your image and your likeness and use it without your regard or your knowledge. So this is what they're basically just protesting for. And living in California is hella expensive. It's just expensive out here. Actors and writers come back outside for another day of striking, come to find out that where they were striking at, which was like lined with luscious, beautiful trees outside, like Los Angeles, outside Universal Studios, that area, all the trees had been pruned, trimmed. And I want you guys to really think about this. These trees had been trimmed in California in the middle of July. No lie, this is for real. So they were outside striking outside of Universal Studios. And the line where they were striking at, which were shaded by trees, the trees had been pruned. There's no more shade. There's no more leaves. The limbs have been cut bare in the middle of July.
I'm telling you, man, these studios are going to do whatever they can to ruin your resolve when you strike. Chris Stevens tweeted out earlier today that before their strike, apparently Universal Pictures employees came through and trimmed all of the trees that were lining the street to the studio right before a week full of 90+ degree weather. This is like supervillain shit. You guys need to understand, this is supervillain shit. These studios will pull out some of the oldest, most ancient, medieval tricks in the book. I'm telling you, these guys are spiritual successors to the oil barons that did the most unhinged shit to keep people from striking and unionizing. It would be funny if it wasn't so fucked up. But here's the bright side. Them doing stuff like this means they're scared. Be prepared against stuff like this. Wear hats, bring umbrellas, bring sunscreen, bring lotion. It's always a good idea to bring lotion. Do not let these guys intimidate you. But these guys are strong. They're not going to let something petty like this stop them from striking. Yeah, this is next level petty supervillain shit. Oil baron and ivory tower supervillain shit. This is beyond parody. It would be funny if it wasn't so fucked up.
Well, so what do you think? It's so bad. It's like, it's not funny, but it's funny because it's so evil. Could you imagine, like, put yourself in the shoes of the writers and actors. You've been working for a company for like 10+ years. You're barely scraping by. The gigs that you're getting, they're not paying you very well. You're being taxed heavy because you live in California. All you're demanding is for better wages, and not just for you, but for you and your counterparts. Just better working environments. So you're on strike. You're just demanding just like the basic necessities. Striking outside your job, right? You're striking, you got your signs, you got your blowhorns, right? I seen a couple of videos of them striking. People are sitting outside, people are cooking, people are creating like demonstrational like art to depict how the CEOs are treating them. You know what I mean? They're just doing all this stuff. And you come back outside the next day to do another round of protesting. And the trees that were providing you shade had been cut. There's no more shade. And they do this in the middle of July, one of the hottest months in California. That is so nefariously evil. Like, when I think about a company cutting the trees where their employees are striking, I have to compare it to Scrooge. It's like, these are Scrooge antics. Think about Mr. Krabs.
No more refills! Give me back them toys, you freeloaders! Show's over, cheapskate!
Hey, it's my lucky day! A penny!
Your luck just ran out!
Hey man, he's back! You're crushing my arm!
Unhand that penny or the arm comes off!
And it's so evil. Oh my gosh. I found an article on this going on because no one's talking about this. And like, to me, this is just like a great story. And this is just like, and it's also a great showcase to tell you, if you do not get in line, they will punish you to whatever degree, no matter how small or large, to punish you. And like, they'll look for ways to do so to put you back in line. I found the article on AP. I'm going to include the website link for the article. So if you want to read with me, you can do so. It's going to be in the description box down below. And also, since you're going to be in the description box, I am a writer. I sell books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo, and some other stuff. So if you're interested in reading some of my self-help poetry books and just some of my other works, it's also going to be in the description box down below. And follow me on my socials. The article is titled, "Trim Trees Outside LA Studio Become Flashpoint for Striking Hollywood Writers and Actors." A row of tightly trimmed ficus trees along a stretch of sidewalk outside Universal Studios has become a hot spot in the face-off between Hollywood studios and striking screenwriters and actors. Some members of the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, and Writers Guild, along with sympathetic local politicians, think the studio purposely pruned the trees in an effort to remove a source of shade for workers picketing under the hot Southern California sun. They gathered regardless on Wednesday, with one woman wearing a green wreath on her head and holding a sign depicting a full untrimmed tree under the words "Never Forget." We can't find any work orders done for this particular tree trimming, which is problematic because in Southern California, we have a lot of laws governing trees, he said. Normally, you don't trim until October, and in fact, the exact same style and type of tree about 200 feet this way are not trimmed. But those aren't providing shade to the picketers, are they? I'm calling BS. I worked for a city for a couple years, like locally, like where I live in California. That particular building or franchise or company that's outside, they themselves cannot trim their trees. You are not allowed to trim the city's trees because anything along the sidewalk belongs to the city, as do your trash and fire hydrant, and say there's a gaping hole in the middle of the sidewalk or there's a pothole. These are all city issues. So typically when someone wants something done that's affecting them, people will make like a work order or a complaint to the city. And the city gets that directive that usually goes to like Parks Planning. And Parks Planning will then again make another work order for staff and employees to say on this exact date, we're going to fix this pothole, or we're going to repair that sidewalk, or we're going to go fix that busted like lamppost or just whatever. Because the trees outside of Universal Studios were trimmed in the middle of July, Universal Studios, this is just me guessing, some sort of connection to the city, which makes perfect sense. Something maybe was done behind closed doors and those trees were trimmed. So the article stated that there were no work orders done. Usually if that happens, it's not the employees. Like the employees are just doing what they're told. Usually would even go to the higher ups. I would even say like city management maybe got that like referral or that notice, hey, we need to cut these trees or something along that line. It's the only thing that actually makes sense because the trees were cut. Anyone who deals with trees, or this is just common knowledge, even if you don't know this, but you don't trim trees in the middle of summer. It's not healthy for the trees. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for the animals that are not in their resting state like they normally would be for the winter time. And that's why typically it's better to trim trees in the winter or the fall season, just because they're resting, they're hibernating. It has to be a malicious act. There's no other way of kind of getting around it. And I find it really interesting that like none of the politicians know why the trees were trimmed, or no one knows where the work order's at, or no one's asking like the right questions to the right person, or the person who did approve the trees getting trimmed wants to like, fess up and say like, yeah, we did this, and we were asked to do this, and our leg got pulled by a studio or something. That's why I say it's so evil. Like, what's next? Like, would they go to all the local stores like where they're protesting and like ban water bottles? Slap some tar on the on the sidewalk to make the ground sticky or uncomfortable, like some goo. So while they're protesting, like their shoes get dirty and like it just sticks while they walk. Like these are the kind of ideas I'm getting now that like we're steeping that low into like Pettyville to punish your employees for striking. I guess the lesson here is to never discount your employment for going low, because they might trim all the trees where you're protesting to teach you a lesson. God, it's so bad just looking at this story. I feel so bad for the employees who are out there, because now you're going, gosh damn, my job don't play no games. They will do whatever it takes to make me feel bad about wanting something a little bit more for myself, for wanting a better like lifestyle, for wanting to be able to afford my rent, for wanting to have health care, for wanting to not have my like and image used against my will or without me being notified. Yeah, I just wanted to report on the story. Do read the article. It's going to be down below. If you're outside protesting, especially like right now, like today the high is 102. Bring an umbrella. Do what you got to do. Make sure you stay hydrated. Bring a hat. Pray for the trees. I think that's what no one's really talking about. Let's really just pray for the trees, because the trees didn't do anything to nobody. The trees were minding their business being trees, trying to protect the birds, trying to, be a healthy, nice life source, trying to give us shade. And who got punished? The trees. RIP the trees. I'll be praying for y'all to grow abundantly, that you guys don't get damaged or hurt during this procession. Yo, leave the trees alone. If you do like this video and you want to stay up to date on things that I find I want to talk about, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Especially share this, because this is just so bad. You guys have a fantastic day. Stay cool out there. If you do see a tree and it does have its leaves, take a picture of it, give it a hug. Thank God that no one's striking outside that tree, because that tree could be next.
I just want to say, as somebody who's worked in the film industry for the last 5 years, whatever, I have worked 16-hour days outside in the heat in Georgia in August. This does not scare me. Universal suddenly pruning trees along the picket line route, this does not scare me. We come prepared to set. My set kit is half camping shit. I have headlamps. I have portable lamps. I have rags that when you get them wet, they get nice and cool, cooling cloths. I have fans that go around my neck, okay? I have big old hats, sunscreen kit, first aid kits, because this is what we do. When we go on set and we work on location, we have to deal with harsh environments all the time. For those of you who enjoyed, let's say, Game of Thrones, okay? Yes, they did have to film in the fucking snow like that. So everyone on set, everyone who's on the crew is out there wearing all the camping gear, survival gear that we can. Because we don't just show up to work being like, I think I'm going to make a movie today. No, we're prepared because we're professionals, okay? This shit does not scare me. But what it should do is it should scare the general public. It should scare people. This level of guerrilla warfare tactics that are happening from the AMPTP and the Universal and all these studios, this should scare people. Not only is this environmental warfare and technically illegal, okay? This just kind of shows that like the studios are not above it. They're not above it, and they're not here to negotiate in good faith either. So when you're looking at the film, like the strike, the actual strike, like what are the parameters that the unions are looking for? The Actors Guild and the Writers Guild. They're looking for fair pay and fair compensation, health care. And the big one is the control of artificial intelligence, okay? The studios want to utilize artificial intelligence to create background actors, to create background scenes. So let's say I'm a background actor. I get paid $80 to show up on a Monday. They scan me. I sign away my entire likeness for that studio to do whatever they want with it from now until the future. I, as a background actor, get paid once. The costume department gets depleted. Okay, no more background costumers. The directing department gets depleted. No more background ADs, second ADs. No more PAs for your background actors. No more opportunities for actors to work their way up from background. No more career background actors. No more retirees. Do you see what I'm saying here? This should scare people.